Praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Also want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders and bishops of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutations unto the elect of Yasharahla, which consist of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as unto you Akim and you brothers out there, teaching and preaching and prophesying through the spirit of YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI in truth and sincerity, as well as the men and women that follow, and those who might look like the other nations are of the nation of Israel on their father's side by blood. Which is kind of, what we going to speak on a little bit, because you have the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Then you got the Israelite foreigners, you got those who look like the other nations, all right, but are Israelites by blood, by their fathers, father, so on and so forth, all right, because that's a misconception, I would say, is all so-called white people are not Edomites, and all so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are not Israelites. Just dealing with those two nations in particular. But what you have is throughout the years the whole mingling of the seeds and even like the parable with the tares and the wheats. All right, we won't know until the angels reveal exactly who's who, but we do have a very, very great indicator, which is the spirit. Once again, if all of these heathens can be saved, all right, then where are they camps? Where are they camps? I have yet to see 2, 3, or 4 so-called so-called white men out there in garments and fringes, instant in season and out of season, not because it's by the spirit of YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI that we out there enduring the elements, man. All right, we know we got a job to do through the spirit, and we go out there in certain elements. Now, certain elements occur, of course, it's just a little too much, too cold, you know what I'm saying, or it's too wet, might be raining too hard. All right. Yeah. But through the spirit of YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, we get the job done. So I want to play this video. All right, because I believe I'm going to title this, "Shut Up, E, and Take Your Medicine." uh, children are normally like, you know, uh, taking their medicine, but now Esau has to have a taste of his own medicine, man. You know. But yeah, let me go ahead and play this video.
I know we like to say this is not who we are as a country, but the uncomfortable truth, this is exactly who we've always been. For Black Americans, constitutional rights have been treated as suggestions since this country's founding. Law enforcement has been dragging people from cars, beating them in the streets, breaking into their homes, and murdering them with impunity for generations. This isn't new, it's the pattern. And when we compare ICE to what Germany did during World War II, know that the Germans got the idea from us. They studied Jim Crow segregation laws, American eugenics programs, and forced sterilization, how we created second-class citizenship despite the 14th Amendment, using legal loopholes to strip voting rights and basic freedoms. This is the American legacy. The only thing that's changed is who is being targeted now.
Bingo.
Many Americans either don't know this history or they're only outraged now because it's affecting white communities. If we want...
And that's the thing. All of a sudden, But hey, we know the Lord is the ultimate chess player. All right, so He held all of this until the end. You know, He gave these people rights, and He gave these people the Constitution. All right, He gave them these things so they can feel empowered, right? While our people is on the bottom. I mean, we partook within the rights in the Constitution here and there, but ultimately it doesn't really apply to us. All right, you know, we just pass it by. All right, but that gave them power. I mean, this is their, empire, their society, their dominion, their rulership, their kingdom, however you want to put it. So this was the way that their people chose to um, live out their empire. All right, ours are going to be based off the law, statutes, and commandments of YAHAWASHI. That's just what it's going to be. But now they're realizing that they not they don't have as many rights as they thought they had. It was different, when a so-called white man and a so-called black man can commit the same crime but get two different types of judgment. And don't get me wrong, it still happens, but some of them are starting to see that uh, everybody is being targeted. It's not. And it started with the who. It started with who? The immigrants. Hispanics. Got to get them out of here. Da, 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 da. They all taking pictures down in Alligator Alcatraz and hooting, hollering, and hooraying and shit. Well, now y'all starting to see what it feels like. Y'all starting to see what Paul Mooney meant, if you know what I mean. Dave Chappelle. All right. But I wanted to get this real quick, and before I let her finish, this is Psalm 64:8. It says, "So shall they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves; all that see them shall flee away." And that's exactly what is happening now through the spirit of Yahweh Shemal Shai. More and more of them are starting to wake up and smell the coffee. And they're starting to expose their own people, their own government, their own politicians, so on and so forth. Because at the end of the day, like I said, they was mainly benefiting off of those rights in the Constitution. And now they're starting to understand that it's being done away with, that is dissolving, and they don't have as much power as they thought they had or wish they would have. To now they're ready to stand up and they expose things and fight against even. But once again, the Lord been an ultimate chess player, because it said there's going to be sedition among men. All right, let's get it. Let's get it. Just because it ain't on the list don't mean it ain't something you got to get. Second Ezra 15. All right. This is yeah, I get straight to it. This is Second Ezra chapter 15 verse 16. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men." All right. Let's see if it's been tripping. It's supposed to bring up the definition, but it ain't been working right. Here we go. Conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority or the state or monarch. All right. And invading one another. And invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their own power. And that's what it's going to be. And it's happening now out there in Minneapolis. Okay. But eventually it's gonna spread like wildfire, man. All right. It's going to spread like wildfire, and you're starting to see a lot more seditions, not even just in the States, but around the world, because people want change, man. People want peace. People want to live, you know. But over here in the States, it's just completely horrible, because you already fighting to survive, and now in the midst of fighting to survive, you're having things being taken from you that's helping you survive, and it's a call Allah Yabashim Shai, man. All right, I'm gonna let her finish this, and I'm gonna read that Deuteronomy 30, which was posted earlier in the video.
To build a true resistance against fascism, we have to be honest about where we're starting from. You cannot dismantle what you refuse to name. This country was built on white supremacy, and it's currently being run by white supremacists. And until we reckon with that, really reckon with it, we'll keep repeating these patterns under different names.
Yeah, all of these years, Edomites have been saying it's fair. You have the same rights that we have. It's equality. You can go and get the same degree. You can work at the same job. You can get the same salary, so on and so forth, with all of that bullshit. All right? But now they're starting to, they want to band together. You know? They want to band together because they're starting to feel those curses, man. All right? Let's get that. This is Deuteronomy 30:7. It says, "And the Lord Yahawah thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee." Right? And thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Lord Yahawah and do all his commandments and commandments which I command thee this day. All right? And that's what we're starting to see. We're starting to see those curses come upon the heathen, man. All right, we're starting to see the heathen go through things. Look at what's going on with the Epstein situation. The Lord exposing these devils. All right, he said that man of sin, the son of perdition, he had to be revealed. So that's what's happening. All right, right along with the Psalm 64, allowing them to expose themselves, their own kind, their own people. You know, because we at the end. This is almost over. All right. That's why they're starting to feel what we feel, because that's what they're going to feel in the kingdom. They're going to be under curses, you know. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be working and working and working, and then when they done working, they're going to work some more. All right, shit. That's what we do. Gotta fight against my my natural what's that? My natural melatonin that's secreting through my body because I gotta work overnight because I gotta do this and do that. And man, listen, ain't no peace in this place. All right, let me let her finish real quick.
The resistance starts with truth. The truth is, we've been here before. We invented it.
Yeah, now you gotta live with it. Hey, but I do like that she said the resistance starts with truth, and that's what was this word, man. When this word came out, that's when Esau really started to fall through the spirit of YAHAWASHI. But our apostles and their elders, you know, Abba Bivens and High Priest Arya, and you know, and you know, all of their elders. You know, my mind is kind of foggy right now. But going back into then when they was bringing out this word, going back to One West, but the Lord had it to where that thing did split up, you know, and it split up, and the Lord gave the 100% truth unto whom He gave the 100% truth to. All right, and to this day, that word is being brought out. That truth is being brought out, man. All right, and the same things that our apostles was saying, the bishops and the elders, all right, it's happening to this day. We heard it over a decade ago, and it's happening, you know. And it's happening, man. Through the spirit of YAHAWASHI. Call all YAHAWASHI. All right. Get a couple more and I gotta close up real quick. This is Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 21. It says, "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom." Right? Edom is who? Esau. Edom. The Edomites, the so-called whites. All right. Edom meaning red. Okay. It says, "That dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked." Now that cup is the wrath of the Lord. All right. And they're starting to drink. They're starting to drink. And eventually they're going to be drunken. They're going to drink more and more and more. And then what? They're going to end up naked. You know, shameful. All right. Made bare. Completely exposed. Revealed. Okay. It says, "The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins." Okay. Now, as we're transitioning out of our punishment, because we're not 100% out just yet, but don't get me wrong, the Lord definitely blesses us, man, looks out and covers us, but we still got to endure unto the end that we may be saved. All right. But all in the same, he's starting to visit the iniquities and the sins of Esau, Edom, man. Okay. I'm gonna get one more. I'm gonna go close it out. This is Baruch 4 and 6. It said, I'm gonna go to 5. It says, "Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. Ye were not sold to the nations, Salakia. Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved the Most High to wrath. Ye were delivered unto the enemies. How? For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to your power." YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. Right? Ye have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. So that's what happened unto us. All right. That's why we were under those curses. You go and read Deuteronomy 15. If you don't keep my laws, statutes, and commandments, this will happen unto you. And look at those curses. Deuteronomy 28. That's what I meant. Not Deuteronomy 15. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. That's where the curses start. But when you read those curses, you'll see all of the things that it was written in there is the things that happened to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right. That was the official. That is the foundation of who the Israelites are today. All right, Esau, Edom don't go through it. Elam don't go through it. Moab don't go through it. Ammon don't go through it. It's our people. But now that salvation is nearer than we believed, everybody can be saved and want to be saved, but y'all don't want to partake under them curses, huh? Y'all ain't want to partake up under them curses, but y'all want part of that salvation. That ain't fair now. You gotta be fair. All right, where's the equality? You gotta go through boot camp first. The boot camp is the curses, you know. All right, but just in a little folly, but call all y'all about Shemal Shy, man. Hey, quiet down, y'all. This is where we at. We at the end, man. We here. We here all through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. So Lord willing, he was edified, and Lord willing, we allowed to endure to the end. All right. And call all Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.